Hello, I'm Dynast Amir.
So I reached out to another friend of mine. I said, look, I need to go on vacation somewhere. Where should I go? He said, go to Africa. And not only am I gonna go, I'm going to explore a new country. So I went to Tanzania, South Africa, Namibia, Mali, Senegal, Morocco, Liberia, Namibia, Kenya, the Voodoo Festival in Ouida, Gambia, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire. Sierra Leone, Ghana, Nigeria. It's been a beautiful experience, just learning more about our culture, our indigenous culture. So uhuru means freedom in Swahili. I'm in search of my roots. In finding that, I would experience my uhuru, which is freedom.
Till next time, Dynast Amir, I'm out.
Greetings, everyone. We are live again. Dynast Amir, Search for a Guru. Thank you so much for joining us. Guys, as you come into the chat room, please hit that like button again. Please hit that like button. Also, share the content as well. Share the content. And we're just going to jump right into it because we have a very special guest on with us tonight. The legendary, the great, the legend. In fact, me and the mother of my child, we went to Fela on Broadway, and it was just Sandra Izsadore, everybody. Sandra Izsadore is on with us today. I'm kind of tongue-tied because, again, I'm happy and excited that you're on, and I've been trying to connect with you, and it's just let's back up for a second, because people know John Cashin on this platform. How do you know John Cashin?
Actually, John came to one of my shows in Georgia. Tenicio. It's a really interesting story, but I don't know if I don't need to put all of Tenicio's business out of the street about what happened that night. But it was one of those things that's unusual. But I met John Cashin on a very high positive note that had some turns and twists in it, almost like that weekend in Paris with Fela. Okay, I'll put it to you like that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, so I guess we could talk about that weekend later on in the show.
The weekend in Paris.
Yeah. Is that something we can share online?
I don't mind sharing it because it's a true event. That weekend in Paris, I'm telling you, if it had been 2 more days, they would have took me out of the straitjacket. Okay. Okay,
so let's start from here. So, Sandra Izsadore. So you're known for, I guess, influencing Fela to take his music in a different direction. From my understanding, am I right or wrong?
You're right.
But let's get to know Sandra before Fela. Like, where are you from? What were you into? Because no one really knows that story. So let's start from before Fela. Like, who was Sandra Izsadore?
Who was?
Like, what were you into? Like, we just want to know.
All encompassed.
All encompassed.
that Sandra is still growing.
Okay.
She's still growing, she's still evolving, and she's still developing. But at that point in my life, it was like an awakening, because I knew as a young child something was off and something was wrong. But I couldn't quite pinpoint it. But I did, as a small child, I knew that that answer was in Africa.
Okay. Now, where are you from? Like, where are you from? Are you from Cali originally, or?
I'm an original Cali girl, okay? My ancestry goes back to I think the first census, first black census that was taken in the U.S. My ancestry is there, so I am what you call an ADOS.
Okay.
An African descendant of slaves, yes.
All right. And so you're from Cali. Like, just tell us about growing up, and were you into like the Black Power movement, and were you always into music? Like, just, we want to know the Sandra before Fela.
Well, the Sandra before Fela was always into music or arts. Let's just say arts. My mother wanted a pianist. That's what my mother wanted. I wanted to dance and I wanted to act. I remember from like maybe the age of 12, I can't remember the man's name that used to come to the house. And we rehearsed on my mother's old upright piano. And of course it was out of tune. But we rehearsed, and we had our first little singing group. I don't remember the name of the group, and I don't remember why he made me the lead singer. It may have been because it was my mom's house and my mom had the piano. That may have been the reason. But anyway, that I would say it started, and the highlight of that was the day that I went to RPM recording studio and Ray Charles was there. Ooh. And I remember I recorded that song. Ooh, I think they did it on acetate back then. And the title of the song is My Tomorrow Is Gone. And that's what I remember about my first really professional experience.
Okay, so speed up. You're in California still. How did you run into Fela in Cali? How'd you?
Well, that same journey, I'm trying to find out about me, and I know the answer lies in Africa. So through the arts, once again, African dance, and doing with some brothers from UCLA that had this cultural thing going with UCLA. I met Juno Lewis. Juno Lewis, a master drummer. Juno insisted that I meet this band from Nigeria because he knew how I loved Africa, and I was identifying. I'm trying to learn. I want to know about me.
So what year was this, Mrs. Izsadore? What year was this?
It had to be 1969, the turn of everything. 69 was the year. A lot was happening in 69. It was the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Yeah, Jimi Hendrix had been on the scene. Love, power, it was all about love. And what did they call it? I remember Haight-Ashbury and Woodstock, although I wasn't there, but I know about it because it was during that time period when it was a love power thing. Mm-hmm. So Juno Lewis is the one who introduced me to Fela. Mm-hmm.
So you meet Fela. Like, how was that introduction? Like, what was your first impressions of him? What were his first impressions of you? Like, when you guys?
I can only tell you about me, okay? But All I know is the day that I walked into that garden party, that was
Garden party. Where's the party at? Like, give me details.
okay. The party was at the Ambassador Hotel in the garden. It's in the summertime.
In LA.
August.
In LA, right?
In LA still.
That's the hotel. That's is that a Korea? That's not a Korea. Is that Koreatown, Mid Wilshire area, or?
Well, back then it wasn't Koreatown, and
Okay.
and that is Mid Wilshire.
Right.
There was a hotel there, but now it's a school.
Okay.
And yes, you're right. The change has come where it is basically owned by the Koreans, all that area there.
Right.
Okay. Well, that was the hotel. And there was a garden party hosted, like I said, by the NAACP. And it was nice. So, but I didn't really want to go. But Juno kind of twisted my arm. He wanted me to go so badly that he came to my house, picked me up, and drove me. Although I had a car, but he wanted to make sure that I met Fela. So I would say that was something that was just, it was meant to be. That was a spiritual connection.
So you meet Fela, and like the conversations? How were the conversations? Like, what did you guys talk about? And what did he tell you about Nigeria? And like what?
In the beginning, there wasn't too much of a conversation, just small talk. The first thing out of Fela's mouth was, "Do you have a car?" Okay. And I did just what you did. I started laughing because I was saying, wow, if this is his best, come on, So it was funny to me. So because it was funny to me, although I wasn't with my car, but I did have one, right? It was comical to me and fascinating, interesting, because here it is, an African man that was different than any of the other African college students that I had met.
Can you expand on that?
Well, most of the college students that I'd met, one of the things back then, they weren't very good with hygiene, meaning deodorant.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
That was an issue. And a lot of them were they weren't urban. You could tell that they may have grown up on a farm, their whole life was farming, and they went from farming to America. Fela's terminology was they came, like bush.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And not in a derogatory way, but, literally living in the bush with where you make your own house and, having modern technology or, flipping lights and, something that's built with cement. Nuh-uh, not like that. We got something with sticks and mud and maybe a tin roof, maybe.
Okay. And then Fela, I guess, was more urbanized, and I guess at that time he was traveling, he was touring, and
yes. Okay. So when I met Fela, he was the first urban African that I had met. So I'm really fascinated now because according to television,
right,
that told me the lie that they were all living in bush.
right.
There were no modern buildings or nothing modern. This is all they had going. So, of course, Fela was fascinating to me because now I'm learning, hey, television lied to me.
Okay, so you meet Fela, you guys talk, and what else? These conversations, what did you find out about him? What were your thoughts?
Dynast, you are so funny. Now you expect me. to go back all those years and try to remember the conversation. The one thing that I remember, I mean, certain words, there's certain triggers that you remember. That question that he asked of me, if I had a car, I remember that. The question that I posed to him, if he smoked ganja.
Right.
You remember things like that. What was in between that, I can't tell you because I don't remember.
Now, as far as the music at the time, what music was Fela into, or what was he playing?
High life.
Okay, so out of Ghana, like High Life is associated with Ghana. Am I more associated with Ghana? Am I correct?
Well, I thought High Life was High Life. It's music. I would say it was their indigenous rock and roll. Okay, because we had rock and roll and they had High Life.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And there had not been at that time. Well, the Americans didn't know. I didn't know there had not been that fusion of music, right?
Right.
So one of the reasons that motivated Fela to come here to the U.S. was because of the Gerald Pino band, who was copying James Brown's style, and the Africans were falling in love with this music much more so than I would say the high life, the jazz high life is that, because Fela was he's very much into jazz.
Okay. So you would say early, even in the 60s, African music was heavily influenced by James Brown or Black American influence, or no, is that safe to say, or?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say the youth of that time was being influenced by the James Brown, but their moms and dads, they were still into the juju music, Fuji, and what's that other one? There's another one. Oh God, I forget the name. Not Wahala. Well, anyway, it lose my mind at this time. But anyway, that's the kind of music they liked.
And someone in the chat room says High Life originated from Eastern Nigeria. No, I think High Life came from Ghana. Like High Life definitely. In my honest opinion, I could be wrong. I think it originated from Ghana. High Life did. I think.
Well, I don't care where it came from. It came from Africa, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
And it's high life music. And then and each region or country have their own form of their, I guess you could call it, high life music. Because if you go to the Congo, Congolese music because it's got that Latino feel.
Right. I think High Life, the Ghanaian High Life, is the more popular. So we'll move on.
Oh well, wait a minute. You'd have to
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, you'd have to school me on. But I don't know why I was here in Sierra Leone, because I know Americans had returned to Sierra Leone, but
right.
And you do have a Sierra Leone passport, right?
I do, correct.
Okay, that's because your bloodline is there.
DNA, right. So with the president of Sierra Leone, what he, I guess, implemented, if you could prove that you have, what's my DNA? Somewhere. If you can prove that you have DNA from one of the tribes of Sierra Leone, you're eligible for citizenship on one of these sides. So nice. So my mom's side is Mende.
Oh, okay.
This is my Mende shirt. Guys, go to Ilamir or dynastymir.com, get your Mende shirt. So I went, I had my DNA test done, and my mom's side came back Mende, Sierra Leone, and
wow.
got my passport.
Yeah, I did mine because I was so sure Nigeria was going to be there, but from the Cameroons, Mafa, my ancestry on my maternal side.
Okay. And this is, you did AfricanAncestry.com?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So, yes, my mom came back Monday, so, you know, no other countries really offering that. So, so how did you end up, how did you and Fela end up close, and how did you end up going back and forth to Nigeria, and, you know?
We connected. Like I said, it was a spiritual connection. It was something that was meant to be. This was ordained in the stars, because look at what's happened from it, you know? Just from me meeting Fela. I mean, it wasn't something that was planned or anything. When I met him, we had an idea. We agreed upon something. And that thing that we agreed upon, that he was going to use his music to teach, that we could help the whole world if we just tell the truth in music. That's what we thought. Okay. And government is going to be so happy. That one right there. Well, it's not what we thought, but that's what we really, really honestly thought. And I would go as far as to say we were so pure in thought about changing the world to a positive place that we thought if we taught truth that this would happen.
So so Fela, when you met him in America, he was more of a high life artist. What caused the shift to, I guess, what we call Afrobeats? Like, can you break down, if you're able to, the origins of Afrobeats? Like, can you package that for us, Miss Izsadore?
The origins of it?
Right. Just, yeah, the origins of it, and I guess the shift from. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is Fela? Would you consider Fela the father of Afrobeats, or am I wrong?
That's his genre. He created that.
Right. So as far as the shift from high life to Afrobeats, what caused that shift?
It was right here in America.